8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
International superstar, Miss Butter B.
You are now tuned in to Butter B Rocker on Transparency Talks Podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Transparency Talks Podcast. I am your girl, Butterby Rocker. Listen, we have an amazing show for you today. But before I bring on my special guest, thank you to everyone that has purchased your tickets for BBR Indie Films 10th event that is going to be happening on May 14th. We have a few tickets left and we're celebrating my birthday. So I hope you guys show up and show out for your girl. And we have an amazing lineup of films, filmmakers, and panelists. You can go to www.bbrndiefilms.com. Also, save the date, June 1st. My album, Thankful, is dropping. Super, super excited. And I have an announcement on May 15th that's very, very special. So you got to stay tuned. Anywho, without further ado, she is the CEO and founder of Exquiste PR. Please show some love for publicist Nicole M. Jordan. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Excellent. It's good to see you.
It's you as well. You as well.
Good.
Transparency Talk. I'm finally here.
Yes, you are here. And I like to get very transparent and I like to dive right on in. Can you tell everyone a little bit of background about yourself?
Okay. I am a publicist, streaming out of the Chicagoland area. I've been doing this since 2013. Started in Atlanta, started in the gospel industry, still in the gospel industry. And really just starting to get my face out there for people to understand and know who Exquiste is. So it's about that time. Never really cutting a red ribbon or doing a red carpet for Exquiste, but 2025 is the year that we're going to go ahead and expose myself and be transparent.
I love it. So what sparked your passion for PR?
You know what? I never knew that I would be a publicist. I never knew that this was coming. We're going to get real transparent. So my parents passed away. And when my father passed away, I had a nervous breakdown in 2010. And throughout my journey, I would be crying every day. And I just wanted to find out who I was and what my purpose was, because I could remember that I had children and I could remember, just my family life. But who I was, what I was doing in the world, all that was just gone. I know now, looking back in the rearview mirror, why. And I can give a ghost for why all these things happened 17 years, almost 18 years later. And I used to just cry and I'd be like, God, please just show me who I'm supposed to be. And I was working as a publicist, mind you, at a glass company that's connected to a Home Depot. Really didn't know anything about the job. But I was just being blessed. I had an office, and I started off as an executive assistant, and then I became an assistant to a publicist, and then got the PR position for Euroview. But it's nothing like what we do now. It's nothing like what I do anyway. And I just wasn't satisfied. I'm answering the phone and I'm going out and I'm making deals. I know way too much about shower doors, mind you, way, way too much. And one day a lady wanted her shower remodeled and I did the infamous, thank you for calling Euroview. This is Nicole. How may I help you? And she said, oh, I love your voice. And I ended up at WRLR in Round Lake at 98.3. So this whole thing started off as me being an intern for 7 years at a radio station, doing really well at interviewing, doing really well at figuring out how to interview people. Cheryl was great with being my mentor. Samuel Belcher Graham out of Chicago was my mentor for a year. And that radio ended up being, I started acting. And then that acting went back around to an executive assistant for Dr. Pamela Johnson. And then she basically winged me into being the PR and being a publicist. I have to stop saying PR. Like 4 years ago, I found out saying PR is really disrespectful to us. Okay. Being mentored. So, yeah, this thing started. That's how this whole thing started. This is so far from what I thought I was going to do and what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an obstetricianist.
Wow. Okay. So how do you view the professionalism of public relations?
So I view the professionalism nowadays. I see things a lot different. The newbies coming in, they're beautiful. They're strutting their stuff. They're doing their thing. They're taking over. But it's a lot different than when I came in the beginning in Atlanta. The professionalism, I really got chewed up and spit out, to be honest with you. They ate me alive, okay? And I was beckoning, did I even want to do this again? Because what I thought, being kind-hearted is just my nature, but being high and just really trying to figure out my way, not really knowing what I was doing. When I say the professionalism on the phone, depending on what genre you're in, and getting in the door and those things, if you're talking to media or something like that is really easy. But when you get in the gulf of the media room and you get in the gulf of the red carpet, people ain't playing. Yeah. People ain't playing about their floor, about their client. And I can remember coming home in 2016, falling across my bed on my stomach after covering the Steeple Awards with Dr. Johnson and just crying. And I had no idea. I was like, I didn't even think I would ever do this again.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. How would you explain the difference of branding, marketing, and public relations?
How would I explain it? Okay, branding is you. Branding is me. Branding is, everyone is a brand. We walk, talk, eat. That's your brand. It takes a publicist or it takes someone else on the outside to be able to see the brand and put the brand together. Marketing is definitely different than public relations. Marketing is the sale of the brand. And then we have public relations. That's keeping you in front of the media, getting you out there to the masses, seeing if we can get licensing, depending on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with someone in radio or film, or if you're dealing with someone that's B2B in a corporate company, tech company, it all depends. But that's the difference. Marketing is definitely different than public relations. And branding has a lot. Go ahead. I'm sorry
to cut you off. What I was going to say is a lot of people do think that it's all the same, so I'm glad that you broke that down.
And it's not the same.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is what I found lately is when I'm dealing with people who have been in the game for a long time, people who are legendary artists, even their managers seem to not understand that there's a difference between marketing, branding, and public relations. And even as a publicist, we cover the branding part. You'll find yourself being a manager sometimes, depending on the client, depending on how far you want to go with the client. I like longevity relationships, because even after the fact that the relationship may end business wise, I still love to network and still love to be, involved. So I really don't like breaking bridges or anything of that nature. But when you have a client who may think that you're supposed to get them to the bag, get me to the bag, Pavani J, get me to the bag. Now, don't get me wrong. You can put an event together, which can then garner them finances. And that's on any level. Like, you can put something together for recognition, for even yourself to be recognized as a publicist, and your client to be, recognized, or to gain sponsorship, or to do something like that. But to get a person to the bag, I'm still trying to figure that part out. I should probably ask AI or something, and then it may be able to tell me. But I don't know how to do that part yet. So, but marketing, sometimes I find myself doing a lot with marketers, a lot on online radio, because it just fits in, because sometimes the marketing team may want to change up something on the branding just so that product to sell.
Mm. But it is safe to say that public relations does divvy in a little bit of all, from the branding to the marketing, because you use all of those tools in getting your client out there, correct?
I definitely agree. Mm-hmm. To the top. I definitely agree. You divvy in all of them. But to master, I almost wouldn't even say that you don't have to use all of them. You, as a publicist, I'm almost not, you know what I mean? When you strategize and you want to bring it to the client, and sometimes I'm not even not scared to bring it to the client. But depending on who it is, the strategy that you may put together, because they're not publicists, because they're not marketers, because they're not branders, but because they've been doing it for a long time, they may know, or they may think they know what's going to do that next thing to get them where they want to go. Mm-hmm. I mean, all I can say is, if you've been trying for 6 years or 7 years, and then you call me, let me just do what I got to do. I love to stay behind the scenes. I'm there. I may even have someone else there watching, just to make sure the strategy goes well. I'm a firm believer in strategizing, and teamwork makes the dream work. You know what I mean? Because if something's not right and it's not going to fit that brand, somebody better have an eye to see it. And 4 eyes is better than one. And not just these 4. I'm talking about me and someone else that can think as well. So, yeah.
I definitely understand that. Okay, so what has been your biggest challenge starting Exquisite PR?
Two things, and I'm going to be transparent. I took a 2-year hiatus because my children were going to college. Anyone who has children, you already know, as a single mother, my goal is to give them the best that I have, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And they're not privileged to have a father who can help me because he passed away. A lot of things in the political world has changed to make survivors checks and things like that stop when this child is 18. It's no longer 25. So when my oldest son graduated high school, I was like pushed to try to figure out something really fast to be able to garner money and not resort back to old behavior. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I can do was I jumped into a truck, which was one of the most dangerous things I could have done. I figured I don't have another 12 years to get a PhD in gynecology, right? And so I'm like, what's the next best thing? And so I started driving trucks, and I would find myself daydreaming literally about the client or about what I can do next in public relations, because I loved it. If I could do it for free, I would, because I love serving. I love getting people to the next level, watching that aha moment go on. But a 2-year hiatus I took I regret that because I missed so much. I missed so much. So contacts, emails, people changed. And I felt like a failure when I stepped back in like 2019. And I kept saying on the internet, I'm coming back. You guys get ready. I'm coming back. Get ready, get ready, get ready. And when I came back, I was so hurt and devastated. In this game, in this career, you have to be on point, on top of all the hottest trends, doing it all the time. You do not have time to take a 2-year hiatus and not still network and feel like, well, I don't want to say hi to anybody because I don't want to bother them because I don't have anything to bring to them. So there's no need to bother them. At least tap in, say something so people know you're abroad. So that's one thing. And the second thing that made me have a really hard time in the beginning was I wasn't being authentic. You know, I wasn't being myself. And this all stems from this nervous breakdown. And so it wasn't just in that part of me having a company, it was in my life that I can honestly say at this age that I wasn't being authentic as far as my personality, my conversation, being very professional all the time, never relaxing, which made other people which made other people feel really probably irritated. I don't know. And I found myself saying all the time, oh, I feel like they don't like me when I come in the room. Oh, I just feel like something's wrong because I can feel energy. And they're looking at me or, you know, and then I had to really check myself and do a self-evaluation and take that all the way back to being, you know, in elementary on the high honor roll and them calling my last name and me being in the bathroom with the stall hiding. So I'm like, oh, you know, we got to break these curses, like, you know, karate, hey, wait, watch out. What's going on? And as I began to be myself and just start to relax, try to stay on top of everything and do self-awareness checks, know that I'm not perfect. And I'm a consistent learner and I'll always be teachable, that this is one of the problems, issue. Yeah. And so that was those are the two biggest issues, me and me.
Yeah.
The hardest thing in my company. Yeah. So
I understand completely because I had to take an entire year off from touring when I had a torn meniscus, torn ACL, and dislocated my shoulder. And the valuable lesson I learned is that the world doesn't stop because you stop. And and it really is an out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes it's not even intentional, but you know, if they can't hire you, they're going to call the next person, and that next person is going to try to maintain and stay in that position, you know, and stuff like that. So, like, for me, people didn't forget me, but they kind of did because I was gone, you know, for an entire year. And then I think I just thought I could be like, hey, you know, because I didn't want to contact them while I was hurt and while I was recovering, because I can't.
Absolutely.
If you called me for a show or if you called me to do something, I was walking with a walker for 3 months. So, you know, I couldn't do anything. So I definitely understand, you know, where you're coming from for sure. What is a common public relations mistake to avoid if you are a publicist?
Reaching out too many times. Reaching out too many times to any other journalist or someone, as if they don't see you. They do talk. And yeah, you will not get answered. So, you know, it's best if you got a team to pass it on after contacted twice. That's one major mistake for newbies. I would say, because you want someone to answer you so bad, you know, you want that major call, especially when you start off in the realm. Like I started off with, I think Pamela was a B-lister / C-lister because she went in and out with cancer. But I got through in the gulf of things And with that nervous breakdown, and I never told anybody, I lived my life with the people that I was around, and I thank Helen, and it was 4 Italian women that saved me and helped me.
Wow.
And they saved my family, and because I had no parents, and it was just, I've been doing this thing by myself since I was 27, so that hit me hard. And I was just thinking, the earliest, in the early stages, she held my hand a lot. So I was more or less told what to do and put in a position, not really understanding what I was doing. I was having a great time at the red carpets, behind the scenes, studying behind Bentley Didier and Shanika Ann, and not even knowing that, you're going to need a mentor, Nicole. Because by this time, breast cancer hit her, then it hit her in her spine. 2019, she passed away, and I didn't have that go-to person to call anymore.
Right.
And as a publicist, not having a counselor or a psychiatrist, I guess you want to say, to talk to, because it'll stress you out. It will completely, for the publicist that's at the top of their game, that's soaring. If you're not balanced, you will find yourself mentally detached from what's reality. Because we're making facades, we're making stories up. We're fantasizers in our mind. Right. You hear someone say, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to go overseas. I want to do this." The first time that happens and you feel that rush that job was completed, you're off to a race. You may forget, and not trying to not even forgetting about family, but you're in your zen right then, Right. And so being mindful of having balance, I would say, for the publicist that's stomped down, going hard and trying to get to that position you want. Because, we all have that publicist that we say, "Oh, girl, I want to be like," if you're a publicist for real. So while you're on that race, just make sure you're balanced, and don't be afraid to say, I don't know how to, I have never done that, or I don't know how to do that, or I can't accomplish that, because you will find yourself in a world full of whatever, not being able to. And it's okay. I mean, if you have it, you'll get there. And maybe that's not your niche, I don't know. But that was, be mindful of that. That's serious,
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a new publicist. I'm speaking for other people. I'm a new publicist, and like you just talked about, calling and getting back in contact with them, the follow up. How many times did you follow up?
You mean as far, well, okay, so let's do the strategy. So we're going to go ahead and do the email, right? And we're going to do the phone call. You better phone call. Please phone call. Don't just tell me if somebody's working for me. Don't come to me and say, "Well, they didn't answer and I've reached out to them." Okay, how did you reach out to them?
Right.
I mean, I emailed them. How many times did you email them? Well, I emailed them twice. Okay. But you better tell me you called as well.
Right.
You better tell me you called, because there's no reason in the world. People don't just check. Well, they may check their emails. They should check their emails. We got so much technology, it comes right over your phone. But some people don't answer, or it may have went to spam, or they may have overlooked it. Please tell me that you've called, and you've called during business hours, and you did not wait till the end of the day, and you have some type of strategy down at this point that you know what time people are answering the phone. So don't tell me that you called them on Monday when it's really, really busy in the early mornings. Tell me you called in the afternoon. What time did you call? Okay, what about Tuesday? Okay, so did you pass it on to Jacob, or did you pass it on to Katie? Okay, if we're overseas, what time was it? We're on a different time span. So yeah, we need at least twice. And then if you got to switch it up a little bit and change the name and make some things happen with your team, do that too. But do not wear your welcome out with someone after that second phone call. After that second phone call, make sure that you either switch the name up or something, or you make sure that you utilize that company name.
Yeah.
I don't always say that my name's Nicole. I don't always say that. Sometimes I just say I'm calling from Exquisite for, because, or I'll change my voice up a little bit. Whatever strategy you need to do to get that person on the phone to make them say yes, that's your job. Get somebody on there. And when you get them on the line, don't take no for the answer. You know what I mean? Don't be so pushy where they just, totally cut the company out. But, make it worth their while or something, and if you got something valuable in your hand, like you would be a ticking bomb. Like I would utilize you. There was no way I wouldn't utilize Butterby Rock name. I'm calling for Butterby Rock. We in every place. And then I am the publicist,
right,
that's under the table. And I tip my hat to all the newbies that's out here looking like, hey, diva. I love it. It's beautiful. They're killing the scene. They're coming out fresh out of college, and you don't have to go to college to be a publicist. That's not why I had no idea you didn't have to go, but that's not why I did it. I needed to do it because, like I had a nervous breakdown, so I needed to know where the adjective went, where the noun went. You better know how to spell. You better know how to talk. You better know how to tell a good story. I'm a little lax right now talking to you because I wanted to be in my comfortable zone, but it wouldn't be like that. I mean, the first conversation, hi, how are you? You know what I mean? You need to know how to speak, because what if we talking to Pepsi? What if we talking to Toyota? What if we talking to Oprah? What if we, you know what I mean? You need to know what to say and how to say it and when to be quiet, because somebody gonna drop a gem at this table. So yeah, that's the fun. That's the fun part for me. That yes, I love it when they say yes. I love it when I see the email come back. I feel like I got it. It's a win.
So how would you present a business seminar or workshop about the business aspect of public relations?
Ooh. Now you gotta let me get a little time for that. Let me, because in my head, how would I present? That's a big one. I could email you on that one. How would I present a business aspect? A business aspect. What type of aspect?
Well, I can actually ask you a different question.
Okay, because that's a good one, girl. But I'll sure email you about it, because that is a good one, because you may want to do that.
What are some common misconceptions people have about the role and function of public relations?
One is getting them to the bag. Getting them to the bag. That's a misconception, that we don't make you money. Another misconception is that we're rich. I have been told that they said you still work for that rich publicist out of Chicago. Like, why do you, publicists aren't, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can make money doing things, but we're nowhere. We don't make $1 million a year, nothing like that's not, no, that you gotta love doing this. You better love doing this. You better love doing this. It's not a rich career.
Right.
It can be a famous career, but famous doesn't mean financially rich. Another concept that's, again, marketing, public relations and marketing, PR and marketing are different. Marketing and advertising are different, but they're similar. In public relations, you use marketing and advertising. What's another misconcept? Oh, there is a such thing, and I don't know how you feel about this, that there's a celebrity publicist. There's no such thing as a celebrity publicist. There's a publicist, or a publicist that has accolades behind their name, meaning that they're accredited, but there's no such thing as a celebrity publicist. There's a such thing as a publicist who works for the celebs. But, when you see that word celebrity publicist, it's just a clap on, clap off. And then there's so many things, misconception about a publicist, that you are never, that you, even for me, I feel like a publicist should look a certain type of way. All Black all the time. And you never walk the red carpet. That's true. Those things are true. You don't get to, you may afterwards get a picture with a celeb or get a picture with an A-lister so that you can have something to show or something for your portfolio. But for the most part, that's not, you may not even get in the show. Like, I mean, 29th Annual Gospel Choice Award. It was a couple of people that I really, really, really wish I could have seen them perform, but I was covering media. And know that about your position. You know, you don't get to sit out there and enjoy the show. And it's a huge setup. You if you're in media, and public relations has something to do with media, we set up. And it's not always easy. And sometimes opposed. So you might have to do it the day before. And so yeah, it's a misconception that it's just that easy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Do you have any clients that expect you to tell them exactly who you contacted? Or
oh yes. Oh yes. I have someone that asked me to give them my major media list.
Right.
I said, what?
Right.
And only because they were who they were, and they were older. I respect my elders and all that, and so I didn't say anything. I just said, okay. And I'm just waiting for the next ask, because they're going to ask again. Can you drop that major media list to us, please? Yeah. You got 35 years in the game, and I got about 14 with a 2-year hiatus. So we want to hope and pray that I've rubbed elbows with the right people and that they kind of like me. But your list should be way longer than mine at this point, is what I'm thinking. Can you let your phone line down so that we can get an easier way to get you in? But yeah, right. People do ask you darndest things.
Yeah, for sure. So if someone wanted to book your company to represent them, how would they do that?
They would go to www.exquisitepr.com and go to our website and fill out the forms on the website. And I'm always looking at the phone because we use these beautiful smartphones that let us get messages right now. And we can always set up a date on Candid. Yeah, social media is everything. We have Instagram. Everything is branded Exquisite PR, the number 4 and the letter U. And Exquisite PR, the number 4 and the letter U, the numerical number 2 for B2B and B2C. So, they don't like to be on the entertainment realm. They don't like their pictures together. So that's fine. I'm trying to separate things, and I'm trying to really brand myself right now and keep the family pictures out of things. And, I was trying to be incognito because I see a dream of being an infamous publicist, 10 years from now, where people have to search for me.
I see that for you.
But I don't know. Do you? I think so too, girl. I know. God says so. So just really, and when you come over, people charge for consultations, right? Mm-hmm. This is what people don't know. If you talk to any major publicist, anybody that I know, they're charging $150, $175 for a consultation. And the reason being is that when you talk to anybody over 15 minutes, you drop a gem. Mm-hmm. It's happened to me. I've seen someone do a whole rollout after they asked me, could they pick my brain?
Right.
That was another lesson. Oh, I've learned so many things. And after I did it, I said, watch this. And I told, and I'm not going to say an employee or partner, because we've grown together over these years. And when I've had to take some things, they've taken them with me, because I make no mistake about it. I'm the CEO and founder of Exquisite, and I take sole responsibility for everything that happens to and for my company. And when no one else had to suffer and shouldn't have suffered but me, they've been right there. Maybe I didn't know something, or maybe I didn't take a client on, because I have done that. because we can't provide their need. So I'm not in the business of playing with anybody's career at all. So if we can, then I will say, ew, you know what? Let me see, because I do partner with other people that's been doing this way longer than me, you know. So if they would like to pick it up, I still a la carte it and I'll give it to someone else. But I have a personal team, and sometimes they, you know, why didn't you? We could have. Okay, maybe we could have, but if I know that I got some family things going on, like what just happened this last month, I'll have to wait, because if you got these major theaters and these power players and they got stuff going on, we're not going to jump on the scene, because if I got to catch a flight, I need to be on a flight right now to do this. And these things you may not have knew that they, you know what I mean? Just so we won't have a pull and tug there, where we won't have a client upset, which I haven't had any of those issues, thank God. But it can happen at any given moment. So you better be thinking at all costs at what you do when you're a CEO, and make no mistake about it. I have a CEO mentor, because when I first started doing this, and Pamela, just because she was who she was, she felt everybody around her is supposed to be a CEO, and you have to have a company. You can't be around me like that. You have to be educated and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just rolling with the punches, not even having no idea what I'm jumping into, because the fact remains everyone's not a CEO. Some people aren't, and you may not like that, but it is what it is. And when I figured out that I was responsible for somebody else's money, and to make sure I got it to them and make sure I reported it to somebody else, so 12 months from now, because they all in my business, which I wasn't used to, I was like, oh, wait, I got to get a mentor for this, because I'm about to mess up, you know?
Right.
And so, you know, I keep a mentor at all costs. I don't care what nobody say. And then I talk to a counselor too, because guess what? I ain't trying to go crazy.
Right.
My latter years, I'm not trying to. I want to be sane at all costs, and I want to play past the clouds, and I want all my clients to too. You know.
Yeah. You've definitely dropped some gems here for us today. I would like to thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me and to our audience. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And all those hard questions, I will definitely talk to you later. Listen, and to the audience, you guys, she's amazing. I appreciate you here. This is my road and my time to start elevating. And so you guys may see me like this. You guys may see me different, short hair and everything. I'm still exquisite, and we still get the job done.
Still get that job done. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, with that, everybody, we are out of here, and we're going to see you guys later. You stay on, but we're going to talk to you guys later. Peace out, y'all.